A very good evening and welcome to State of Business, our television's primetime business news bulletin. I'm Adusha Palakumar. Let's take a look at the headlines first. CBSL anticipates 4 to 6% inflation during the first quarter of 2018. And the United States emphasized the need for a sustainable reconciliation program in Sri Lanka. Now the stories in detail. Addressing the Monetary Policy Review Report press briefing, Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy stated that the CBSL anticipates a target range of 4 to 6% inflation during the first quarter of 2018. Dr. Kumaraswamy also noted that the current headline inflation rate of the National Consumer Price Index is higher than what CBSL anticipated. CBSL also expects the base effects of the last year's VAT increase to fall out and, in turn, exert downwards pressure on inflation along with the agricultural production. Starting from the global arena, world economic growth is estimated at 3.6% in 2017 and it is expected to rise to 3.7% in 2018. Global economic activity is expected to strengthen, driven by improvements in global chain and manufacturing. The Sri Lankan economy is expected to perform better during the second half of the year as a result of continuous positive momentum of the industry and the service sector and a modest recovery in the agricultural sector.
If the budget is well aligned with the government's 2025 vision document, which would then be an indicator that there is likely to be predictability and consistency in policy making, then I think you will probably see sentiment change, investment pick up, and the quality of credit growth get better in that more might get channeled to the productive sectors of the economy, and then you probably see a better feed through into growth. At the beginning of the year, we anticipated 2 peaks in inflation during the course of 2017. One around March when we saw a peak, then it came off, and then we anticipated another peak around this time of the year. But the rate of inflation, particularly the headline inflation, is higher than we anticipated. On the NCPI, if I recall, it was 8.2%, what was it, 8.2% is the NCPI number. So that 8.6, sorry, on the NCPI it was 8.6%, which is higher than we anticipated. But what you must look at is what the core rate was. The core rate of inflation on the NCPI is 4.6%. Now that is the rate which reflects demand in the system. And that is it's really demand in the system that the central bank can exercise influence over. The peak in inflation is not due to demand side pressure up to now. It is due to weather-related disruption to supplies and to the tax adjustments, particularly the VAT. Up to now, the increase in inflation is due to factors which the central bank has no influence over. So to change monetary policy at this point to address that problem would not be appropriate.
Speaking further, Governor Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy noted that the challenge for our country is to ensure that the premium above risk-free rates, which are the US Treasury rates in international capital markets, are getting compressed. Dr. Kumaraswamy also stated if Sri Lanka can pursue macroeconomic stabilization policies rigorously and strengthen the growth framework of the economy on a sustainable basis, the premium will come down and it should enable Sri Lanka to mitigate the increase in the Fed funds rates.
I suspect with the US economy growing reasonably robustly and with the labor market also being tight, there are likely to be other increases next year. And I think the dot plots indicate possibly even 3 increases next year. So the challenge for us is really to ensure that we compress the premium above the risk-free rate, which is the US Treasury rate in international capital markets. because we're a twin deficit country, we've had a pretty high premium as far as our borrowing costs are concerned, over and above the risk-free rate. If we can pursue our macroeconomic stabilization policies vigorously and strengthen the growth framework of the economy on a sustainable basis, then that premium will come down. And it should enable us to mitigate the increase in the Fed funds rate. So that's that. If we can do that successfully, then we should be able to contain the effects.
Sri Lanka and the United States convened the second partnership dialogue led by Sri Lanka Foreign Secretary Prasad Karyavasam and U.S. Under-Secretary of State for Political Affairs Thomas Shannon in Colombo last evening. Addressing the media, Thomas Shannon stated that although the reconciliation process in Sri Lanka has been moving slowly, the U.S. recognizes the need for a sustainable reconciliation program within the island. Speaking further, he noted that U.S. aid will continue to support the Sri Lankan government in the implementation of reconciliation programs. The United States also welcomed the progress on constitutional reform, return of private land held by security forces, and the establishment of an independent and permanent office of missing persons. Discussion between the two parties focused on the vision to develop Sri Lanka as a regional hub for trade and investments in Asia. The United States reiterated its support for Sri Lanka through trade, investment and foreign assistance and direct partnership with stakeholders in the country. The United States also announced that it will offer a second U.S. Coast Guard cutter to the Sri Lankan Navy pending completion of congressional notification. The United States also working with the Sri Lankan government to return U.S. Peace Corps volunteers to Sri Lanka's English classrooms. They also announced a U.S. $21 million project awarded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food for Progress program.
I am pleased to announce a new $21 million project by the U.S. Department of Agriculture through the Food for Progress program. This program will help increase the productivity of Sri Lanka's dairy sector and connect thousands of Sri Lankan farmers to local and regional markets. I am also pleased to announce that the United States will offer a second U.S. Coast Guard cutter to the Sri Lankan Navy, pending completion of congressional notification. This vessel, a Secretary-class high-endurance cutter, will enable Sri Lanka to more effectively police its coastline and exclusive economic zone and to protect its sea lanes of communication. This transfer goes beyond solely providing a capability. This Coast Guard cutter is a tangible symbol of our growing partnership and reflects our shared commitment to regional stability. Today is a great day for the U.S.-Sri Lankan relationship. As the government of Sri Lanka moves ahead with its reforms to promote justice, accountability, reconciliation, and human rights, the United States will continue to partner with Sri Lanka to foster economic development and advance equal rights and opportunities for all persons in this great nation. I would like to conclude by thanking you, Mr. Foreign Secretary, for your friendship and for hosting me today, and for all the tremendous work you have done in making this dialogue and partnership a success.
Let's take a look at more news after this break. Welcome back. The government of Sri Lanka has recognized the need for a digital economy and has taken measures to digitalize the administration in order to successfully face future economic and social challenges. Accordingly, the Information and Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka, ICTA, took another step towards creating a digitally empowered nation by launching the Lanka Government Network 2 in Colombo today. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was the chief guest during the occasion. Aligned with the National Policy of Digitalization of Economy, ICTA implements several initiatives to provide efficient and effective services to citizens and businesses. The Lanka Government Network is a strategic project of ICTA to unify and upgrade government establishments by using a single network. The main objective of the LGN project is to build widely available, high-speed, secure, reliable and a centrally managed, dedicated government network to link all the government institutions to a single digital infrastructure. By successfully deploying the LGN project, ICTA aims at encouraging public sector employees to get better acquainted with information and communication technology, assuring efficiency and smooth flow of information, as well as improving standards of service in the public sector in order to provide efficient citizen services. Addressing the media in Colombo this afternoon, Minister of Megapolis and Western Development, Patali Champekar Ranawaka stated that not having sufficient fuel stocks has led to a chaotic situation in the country.
අපේ සාමාන්‍ය පරිභෝජනයේ 2500යි 500ක් එනවා මේ කොයිද පිරිපහදුවේ 2000යි පිටින් ගේන්න ඕනේ 90000ක් තියෙනවා 90000ක් තියෙනවා කියන්නේ දවස් 45කට ඇති. ඉතින් අපි ප්‍රමාණවත් තොග පවත්වා නොගැනීම තමයි මූලික හේතුව. මොකද ඔය නැව්වල එනේවා මේ 100%ක් හැම එකම නෑ. දැනට තියෙන තොරතුරු අනුව තෙල් සංස්ථාව කියලා තියෙන්නේ 8 වෙනිදා තෙල් නැව එනවා කියලා. යනු 9 වෙනිදා. ඒ කියන්නේ සිකුරාදා උදේ වෙනකොට මේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳෙන්න ඕනේ. ඊළඟ තව එකක් 12 වෙනිදා එනවා. අනික 21 වෙනිදා එනවා කියලා. එහෙම තමයි තෙල් සංස්ථාව වාර්තා කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
Let's take a look at the stocks after this break. Welcome back. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all-share price index dropped by 6.83 points to close at 6,595.89, and the S&P SL20 index dropped by 4.76 points to close at 3,878.42. The turnover was 260.2 million rupees and 13.1 million shares were traded. Next is Forex rates. With that, we wrap up State of Business for the day. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time with more latest news. Until then, take care. Good night.